Hi everybody, my name is George. I hope everybody's doing well. The topic that I chose to speak of in this speech here today is should or should not student athletes get paid? So I wanted to discuss scenario. Imagine that you're working, you're putting in effort, you're putting in the time, and you are not compensated for the work that you are putting in, but told that going to school is enough of a privilege for what you're doing. In 2017, the NCAA brought in $1.1 million worth of profits. Exactly zero of those dollars went to the actual student athletes that are the ones that are making the money for the school. So, of that, it gets distributed in different ways of the revenue that they bring it in. A lot of that goes to activities in the school that have nothing to do with athletics, but athletics is the one that brought in all that money. So therefore, the students are not being paid according to what they're supposed to be getting paid. This has gone on for a while. For those of you that are sports fans, you're familiar with a lot of the scandals that have happened over the years. But to those of you that this is a foreign conversation, a little bit of background. NCAA and the NCAA D1 and D2 athletes are paid with scholarships. So like that when they're playing a sport, they don't have to pay for the tuition to go to the school, but sometimes what they do outside to stay in the shape they need to stay into and to continue to put in effort in the work, sometimes those costs do go past what the school gives them in scholarship in terms of the equipment and all that other extra stuff that they have to pay for. um, so they have this demand on their body that they're putting in a lot of effort and they're not fairly compensated for that, yet they are making money for the schools and for the athletic director and for some of the head coaches of some of the D1 schools making northern of $5 million a year. And while all the athletes there are not getting any of that money. And some of these athletes do come from struggling families. These families have no means to pay for food, to pay for shelter on their own. So a lot of these players do get put into strange situations. A lot of you that are familiar with the scandals know that there have been times where companies like a Nike or an Adidas will give a player and their family lodging, cash for them to be able to buy stuff like that. They get the promise from the athlete that when they do go professional that they're going to sign with that company, that Nike, that Adidas type thing. So then they end up getting the player to break the rules, but in reality, the player is in a forced situation where they come from that background and they are forced to accept that because they do need the money and their families are severely struggling. Um, so some of these players aren't even going to go pro yet. Some of them are putting their bodies on the line to not make any money and they are just getting their scholarship. But then in reality, that forces some players to be in a situation where they don't even go to college because they're not going to make any money right away, and their families are struggling now, so they need to go straight into the workforce and just go straight there so they can make their family some money. Um, a lot of students want to be able to earn more money for their families, and that's why they do break the rules. So I find that if we were to find a system where the student athlete is able to get paid based on a tier system of what sport they play and how big the school is and how much money they're actually bringing in, we could create sort of that baseline pay where student athletes do get paid. This lets the ones that aren't going to go pro and are just going to play for a little bit, yet they're still going to make the school money because they are playing for the school and the school's going to profit off that sport. They can make a little bit of cash like that. They can send it back home or save it for themselves for when they graduate with a degree and they're able to have some money saved up. And then the star athletes, that they'll be making as much money as their teammates, but the bigger companies like a Nike and Adidas will be able to pay them the bigger dollars. This is all dollars that none of it's illegal money. This is just the NCAA has made the rule that you cannot pay an NCAA college player any money, so that's why they're not able to get this money to the players. Um, but with the system where the players are able to get paid a small baseline salary, and like this, the Nikes and the Adidas of the world will be able to give the bigger bucks to the players, not the colleges. That won't come from them. This just gives the players the ability to make more money based on their marketing value, their likeness, and their actual athletic ability. Because in reality, in America, that's kind of what it is, right? You get paid based off the value you bring to the marketplace, and I feel like a system where the college athlete is able to get paid for the work that they put in and for the money that they make for the school and for the staff at the school, that is a pretty big thing, and they are big for all of us because they play a big role in all sports fans, not, I wouldn't say daily lives, but definitely a part of the sports ecosystem. So I definitely want to see college athletes get paid, so that they're fairly compensated for what they bring to the marketplace, and I feel like we all should be. So that is my speech. Thank you. Everybody have a good day.